Hey everybody, my name's Jason. Today I am going to be working on my son's PS5 controller. He's saying that his sticks are starting to stick a little bit, so he's looking left or right, moving left or right without actually physically moving the joystick. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to take it apart. I started taking it apart before I realized I wanted to make a video, so I've already got some of it apart, but I'm going to go ahead and backtrack a little bit. Just to let you know, like some of the things that I'm using. How do I flip the screen? That's not it. Well, okay, I can't flip the screen apparently. So I'm actually using an electrostatic mat, and I have my own toolkit that I purchased at, I think, Meyer. I am wearing an electrostatic just in case. I don't want to fry out the components. I don't know how good PS5 made their stuff. I've already taken it apart once, cleaned it, but he's saying that the other side's starting to stick now. First thing you need to do is you have to remove this front black cover. I did this with just a metal sponge. Real simple, just come around the edges, find a spot that's kind of seeping up, pick it up. Down here's the problem spots. He actually broke his, and I've already fixed it once. Right here, if you look, it's slightly cracked around the edge. Went ahead and super glued it back in place. You'll see two small screw holes right here. Small Phillips screwdriver, do the trick. I've got one with the spinny head, so you can actually put pressure on it and spin it with the palm. Next, you will have to take out R1 and L1. Again, this is a simple thing with the spudge. Put down to the side. I'll show you with the back ones. You just lift here, pop, and pop, and they'll come straight out. You can literally put the spudge underneath it, pick it straight up. Don't pick it up on one side. Actually, pop one side loose, pop the other side loose. You have to take out the R1 and R1 and L1 because there are two small screws right there. Those have to come out to get the controller part. Sorry for the noise. My kids are playing video games. Should still be able to hear me. I'm going to go ahead and take the top screws out. I'm putting everything on an electrostatic mat too. All my stuff's magnetic tipped, so I don't have to lose pieces all the time. Probably still going to drop something. I always do. Need to just do a whole YouTube video on stuff I like to fix. So I got the top two screws out. The bottom two screws out. Well, coming out. Now, because my stepson actually went ahead and tried to pull it apart, and he broke the bottom of it, and I told you I had to super glue that back together. I'm going to have to be a little bit more gentle than you'll have to be. These things are pretty resilient unless you have screws still left in it. As long as you remove these 4 screws, this should pop right apart with no issues. I can already feel it, like you can see the seam starting to crack. That's because he broke this side. You can use the metal style spudge. These are pretty gangster too. Looks like a guitar pick. It's got a flat side on it. Literally find an edge, put it in, twist it. Find it to where it completely goes in, and just twist and lift up. Once you get an edge started, the metal spudge works a little bit better. Pop it free. You're going to hear some cracking. It's going to scare the hell out of you. I actually need to do a YouTube segment. I'm going to call it Damn It Josh. You know how like when kids are little, you get them come work on the car, and they hold the flashlight for you, and they always drift around because they're not paying attention. They don't care, but you want them to learn. That way I can just yell at them, Damn it Josh. Damn it Josh. Let me know in the comments. Subscribe, like. Now, this is a little bit harder. You're going to have to use some finesse to get this apart. Like I said, I remember I super glued mine, and this has been like not even 20-30 minutes ago, so mine's probably going to be a little bit more stuck than yours is. It should just pop. Right here you'll notice you'll have 2 small tabs. He already broke one, so the other one, just pop it free. And then should start just slowly coming apart. Again, take your time. This is not something you want to mess up. Back popped right off. Alright, so this is what the back of your PS5 controller looks like. There's all kinds of specs on the battery. Apparently the new batteries are actually a lot bigger. These aren't super glued in, velcroed in, nothing. A lot of people say to use tweezers. You don't have to. you'll see the small connector. Slightly tug. Pops right out. Alright, there is one small screw right here. You have to take that out because that's what's holding the circuit board to the actual controller. What I do, and I found good practice, the 4 screws that I took apart, I have little compartments on my static electrical mat. I put them all together, that way I know those are the 4 that I took apart initially to put the controller together. So when I go back to put it back apart, I don't have to worry about it. So I'm actually going to store back in the hole. You can only put this on one way. You can't put it in backwards, it won't let you. So now this is where you're left off. Now when Josh tried to actually pull his apart, he broke both of the connections. Down here you'll see on yours you'll have like these brownish electrical cords and they're microphones. When he pulled it apart, he actually severed the connection between the two, and I'll show you what he did so you don't make the same mistake. This was his microphone. This is the other side of the microphone. There is no fixing this. He's just going to be without. Sucks. It is what it is. The other one, he actually pulled the electrical connector off of it, so I can't reattach these. They're done. So he no longer has a microphone. He will always have to use some sort of external mic or Bluetooth, which isn't a big deal because he has a great headset. So if you break these, I hope you've got good money for a nice external headset, a Bluetooth headset. He doesn't care. A lot of people think PlayStation's listening in on you anyways. If you've got that undying paranoia, all right, cool. Just disconnect them, take them out, cut them out. Doesn't matter. They're very, very easy to disconnect. I would recommend a set of pointed tweezers that got the really sharp edge. Gingerly, very, very slightly, just pull, and then the clasps the same way. I would not pull them out the same way that I pulled out the component for the battery. Take the tweezers, line it up, just like so, because these are the connectors. Get a nice firm grasp, lift straight up. Sometimes you may have to back and forth a little bit, just like any other connector sometimes. After that, now these joysticks up here, they're already attached to the circuit card on the back. So you're going to have to actually be very careful, use some finesse. I'm not going through the whole process of disconnecting all these connectors because all I'm simply doing is I'm going to alcohol clean these. I have some Q-tips setting out, some isopropyl alcohol, just 70% rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, either one will do. It's going to break down whatever your kids have on their hands, should clean it up pretty nicely. From here, again, this is one of those, take spudge, find an edge, slightly pull back, slightly pull back. It's not an easy process, it is not a hard process, it is a it's a slow process. When I set it down, actually, you can see one side already popped up, so take the joystick, pop it up through the hole, it's going to get caught on those. Now, it is still connected right here, and it's still connected right here. Like I said, I don't need to take this thing completely apart. I've already done this once, so I'm just trying to give you all a good visual breakdown. Inside here, if you look from the bottom, these two motors right here, these green motors, these are the servo motors. Now, this should, if you clean inside of those, that is where all the action is. A lot of people like to take these joysticks and douse them in alcohol. If you look closely, they have a guard all the way around them, and it's almost like an umbrella, like a mushroom head. It's not going to allow alcohol to get to the components that actually need to be cleaned. It's just going to drip down onto the circuit card. You'll have a clean circuit card. I mean, that's a plus, but you're not fixing the problem. So what we're going to do is I'm going to open it just far enough to where I'm not breaking those cords, because that's where these cords right here, the red and black, these are actually for the vibration controls. If you break those, you can solder them back together if you have that knowledge. If you don't, guess what? It's not going to vibrate anymore. It could hurt other parts of the component. Just pour some alcohol in a cap. Douse it, let it drip dry. And then just lightly soak the servo motors. All the way around, you'll see these little white tabs. If you want to sit here and play with it, you can actually see where they actually move. I would recommend moving the joystick down in here. Move it around a little bit. It'll work the alcohol in there before it dries out. Alcohol dries really, really quick. That's why we use it on electrical components. Plus, it breaks down anything sticky that might be in your hands. You spill soda on your hands. You have dirt on your hands. You have dry skin. I have dry skin, so a lot of times I'll find dry skin inside of all these. I take them and lightly blow them out. I wouldn't use an air compressor. Maybe get a can of compressed air. This stays down in my son's room, so it's typically pretty clean. All I'm doing is just reaching down in here, front and back, side to side. This should clear up any issues. So this will be 100% clean when I'm done with it. If it is still moving, when he comes back up, he's going to tell me, I got one side to work really well. He's going to tell me like, hey, yeah, this side works great. Or, no, it didn't work. If it didn't work, probably means he has a bad servo motor. He's gotten pissed. He's probably squirreled it too hard to one side. It's pretty much done. He's always going to be looking to the left. He'll have to constantly control that or replace the controller. I don't know if you can actually replace the servos. It's soldered in. I'm sure you could buy it. It'd probably be cheaper and more cost effective depending on your time. If you're self-employed, unemployed, and you want a project, it wouldn't be hard to solder it in. Just be patient with it. I could do, if you have a problem with it, my email address is connected to this YouTube account. Email me. I'm a J Standard Solderer. Maybe I can give you a hand. My sister's calling. Let's reject her. So now putting this back together. Oh, the washing machine's done. Just going to slightly move these around until they're back into place. Make sure they got free range of motion. I'm pushing with my thumbs from the back on the circuit card ever so slightly. This is why I'm grounded out, because I don't want to mess up the circuit card. I'm able to move them in every range of motion. I think there's a piece here missing. He probably broke it off, afraid to tell me. Whatever, it's cosmetic. That does not need to look pretty to function. Form, fit, function, engineering ways. Pushing my thumb on this, I just found like a really sticky spot. If you want, real quick, douse your Q-tip, run it across the circuit card. You're not going to ruin the components. I've been doing this for years. I've done it for Raytheon Technologies. I've done it for Tesla. I did it for the United States Navy on droning systems. You're not going to mess it up with a little bit of alcohol. In fact, it probably might help the other components. Maybe part of the problem. Slight graze over the top of it. Now, it is all the way firmly seated back, so we're going to reverse order. First things first, Iggy Azalea, the realist. Our black plate that has to go in because that's where the battery sits. Now remember, I told you it only fits one way, and if you look on the circuit card, I'll go ahead and show you because I can see it. There's a small screw hole right here. It actually has a small gold arrow. I don't know how well you can see that on the video, but there's a gold arrow. That is where that screw is going to be placed. Dump the screw out so I can see the hole. If you line that up, it literally sits right back there. Make sure you reseat this. That's for your headphone jack if you have a wired head jack instead of the Bluetooth. It should sit flat against it. Screw you just dumped out on your mat. Pick it back up. Of course, it doesn't want to line up with my screwdriver. And screw back in place lightly. You don't need to torque these down. This does not take. This is literally to hold it in place. This is not holding, a Mack truck together. You may feel stuff shift around. Get it on to where it's just not turning anymore. Give it a little bit of turn. It's good. Your next part is your battery. I usually try to test fit it on first, see which way it was supposed to go. You can tell with wiring. It doesn't want to fit this way. It won't do it. This way it sits in just fine. Perfect. And don't forget your electrical connector. So first, you got your orientation of battery. The barcode is going to be facing up towards you. The QR code, I'm sorry. Of course you would get stuck while I'm doing a video. So, goes in one way. Look to see to line it up. Plug back in. Now it's kind of hard. I hurt my fingers working on a car yesterday, so it's a little harder for me to push in. So I'm taking a spudge, and you'll feel it. Push on one side, push on the other, and you'll feel it seat ever so slightly. Oh, I just felt one side pop. And it is, now if you don't fully seat this, it will not charge correctly. It could short out. all kinds of multitude of problems. I mean, it'll work, but it's not going to work great. Hell, it may not even work at all. So the battery's still sitting on there. So next, we're going to put the back on. This is just a simple getting it over all the components, making sure you line up those 2 screw holes I showed you at the top, making sure it's getting everything. These little the vibrators at the bottom are a little tricky to get around sometimes. Now remember, my son's is not going to seat correctly. Stepson, sorry, is not going to seat correctly because he broke part of his. You can even see his little tab over here. He broke. Not a big deal. It's still going to function the way he needs it to. He doesn't really care. He just wants to play. You're going to hear it snap. You're going to hear it pop. Make sure you're not pinching any components. Oh, there went one side, so that's good. There's the other side. And you should, for the most part, see a pretty clean seam. Remember, this side's broken, so it's going together. It'll fit a little bit better once the screws go in. From here, all you're going to do is pop in those 1, 2, 3, and 4 screws. You're going to put, turned his on, whoops. And you're going to pop these back in. We'll go ahead and go, this is already a long video. So, literally, whoops, sorry. You're going to slide those up in there and just work it back down into place. And then these will snap down towards the bottom. I hope this helps you guys out. Subscribe, leave some comments. If you need some help, let me know. Thanks.